Hey, Internet. A little business to start off today, and a setup and a guess and a trial that this particular episode is going to be a part of. Whether you know it or not, the way that I support what I'm doing and continue to expand it not only in technical detail, but also in terms of reach, right? Developing comic books, stuff like that. Wanting to spend money on that kind of stuff to then have it come back, right? Go out. One of the ways I do that is through Patreon. Patreon is a okay system for having fans, followers, readers, whatever, support what you do. Listeners support what you do. And I've been using that for a while now to support the podcast I do, which is now becoming the operational core behind the YouTube videos that I'm trying to do for you daily, if not regularly, almost daily. So the question a little bit is how to bring those two things together. And to do it without always saying, like, hey, the podcast really matters. So here's what I'm thinking I'm going to do today. I'm about to record the podcast. It normally comes out on Thursdays. It doesn't always. But what I'm thinking I'm going to do is start the process of recording the podcast. And then about 15 minutes into it, I'm just going to turn the video off. But the conversation will not be over. And I'm going to try to stop at a time when, maybe you'll want to go listen to the podcast. And so we'll see how that goes today. We'll see how that goes. So that's what's going to happen. The biggest difference you're going to notice is that, this is like this, right? I'm not going to be looking at you much. I think I'm going to do that because if I look at you, I will be distracted thinking about how I need to do a show, right? From the voice in the podcast, which is still my voice, but is a little more free, I suppose. It's not so worried about hitting the mark. When you're looking at a camera, I got to look at that, right? I can't look at my face on the screen all the time. If I do, I'm talking like this, it looks really funny, right? So you have to look up, but you have to check things, blah, blah, blah. I don't have to worry about that. So I'm actually going to go away from this program entirely and into other stuff while I'm talking, and I probably will stop looking at you, and I'll be looking down like this the whole time. So I should probably have, can I do that here? That would be cool. There's a way, I should have looked at this beforehand. I just thought of it now. There is a window for putting like come on now, overlay? Is that it? Overlay? There we go. Text. Cool. Okay. Podcast recording in process. Add. What happens? Boom. Right, look at that. Put it over my face. Maybe right there's good. Yeah. So, thanks, Mike. I don't know if that's innuendo. So that's what's going to happen here, right? And I'm excited about it because I am going to be talking about what the title of the video is. If you looked at it, it's just not started yet because it's the first time I've done this. And again, if you want the rest of it, you're going to need to go to revfist.com where it'll be posted within a couple hours today, or subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast app. At the moment, it's called Project Resurrection. I don't know that it's going to stay that. I know some of you are like, what? Again? Yeah, what again? I know. But that's actually what I'm going to talk about today a little bit. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm still trying to figure this thing out. Trying to land with a clear plan on some of this stuff. We'll talk about that a little bit, but I'm also going to talk about the topic. And this comes out of last week's podcast, which is one of the favorite ones I've ever done with Pastor Adam Kuntz. Technically about Ezekiel 4 and 5. Baking bread on poop and and about American life. So it got me thinking, got me going. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go away from the camera, officially for me, and then I'm going to start up the recording software for the audio for the podcast, and then I'm going to go, I need to turn off the sound of you guys giving me comments. If I do that, that might do it. That might stop the comments. But it might not. If you leave comments, it'll just be in the background. So, but I am going to come back at a certain point and I'm going to say, see ya, check out the podcast. So hang tight and we're going to start this thing. And I don't really want all that here, but I think I can't avoid it. Okay, so that's interesting. But I can't. I can make this go away. I can make this go away. I can make this go away. And that is just going to have to hang out down here. Yeah, they're still popping. That's got to be in the preferences, right? This is fun video at work. I bet you're here to wait for me to figure this out. Sounds. Oh, come on. Play, only visible playhead. No. Pop sounds. Well, we'll just have to have the podcast listener get annoyed by all your comments. Yeah, so Let's see. Here we go. So I figured something out last week. I'm mad. I'm mad in every sense of the word. I'm so mad that you might even be feeling some of my madness. You might even be hearing noises you're not used to hearing, like a popping sound. Yeah, that doesn't exist. That's in your head. So if you hear that popping sound, no. You're just mad too. No, I'm kidding. We're actually doing a little bit of this video live on YouTube, and then people are leaving comments, and I don't know how to stop that yet. So, but it fits. It fits the madness, I think. I'm mad. And if you listen to last week's episodes, you kind of know where this is going a little bit, but I'm really going to run that way. I just think it's what it is. I'm mad, and I'm mad in every sense of the word. And there's two main senses of the word mad in American parlance. It's not really slang. We've kind of lost one of them. We say crazy instead. Lunatic, insane, out of your mind. Yeah, I am, I think. I'm going to talk about that today. And then I'm also angry. I'm not just angry. I think I'm really angry. I'm the popping. I'm like raging angry. So like you're small, puny angry maybe. I'm roaring, raging angry. Yeah, like Hulk. I'm Hulk angry. Strongest Avenger. I'm angry. And I think I want to talk about that today too, although that's maybe not as central to the long-term idea, but it kind of is. Because it's okay. This is like a Christian lie. It's not in Broken 7 Christian, what's it called? 7 Christian rules. That's it. That every Christian not to break. One of them wasn't, you're never allowed to be mad. It maybe should have been. Didn't really fit what the book was really about, but it is a Christian lie that you're never allowed to be angry. That's just not true. Or that anger is evil. Well, if anger is evil, then how can the good God ever be angry? How could Jesus be angry without sin? And you're like, yeah, but it was without sin. True. So therefore, anger itself can't be the sin. That's math. And you're right. Not everything is math in the Bible, but the Bible's pretty clear. God's wrath, that would be his anger, like the definition. So anger, amazingly, is an attribute of God. It is a godly thing. Now, I've wrestled with this years ago, and here's kind of the answer I came to on just how that is, what that means. How is anger good? Because how could anger ever be good? It always causes problems. You're right. The anger of man does not bring about the righteousness of God. That's also a quote from the Bible. The anger of man does not bring about the righteousness of God. So there's a problem with our anger and the way that it works. But that doesn't mean that anger itself is the problem. And again, so what is anger? When God gets angry, what makes God angry? There's only one thing in anything. It's not even really in the universe. It's infected the universe. The only one thing that anywhere is, though, that makes God angry is evil. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing that's not evil makes God angry, and evil makes God angry. That's it. What does that mean? That means that God gets angry when good things don't happen. When right things don't happen, when blessings don't happen, when pleasure in the right way doesn't happen. God gets angry when just things, beautiful things don't happen. That is, God gets angry at injustice, at unfairness, at evil. And if you think about it that way then, as this eternal attribute of God, God is always, for all eternity, angry at evil. That's kind of a good thing. I'm glad that God feels that way. Otherwise, he might be a bit more capricious, That wouldn't be fun. I mean, if you want to worship pagan gods who are capricious, you go for it, yeah? But not a fun thing. Risky. Maybe you get some barbarian super juju one afternoon, but then you're dead the next kind of thing. And yeah, who doesn't want barbarian super juju? I got you. But who wants to die the next day randomly because the god's like, I forgot about you. That sucks. Yeah. So anyway, I'm glad that God really just gets angry at injustice and prioritizes justice as goodness for all. With that, then, being what we know anger is in God, then we can know that when we get angry, this is an insight into what's going on in our heads. You get angry when you perceive an injustice. And that's actually a good thing, right? I mean, shouldn't we? I mean, you're right. The social justice warriors are angry, over angry perhaps, at all the injustices. But is the problem that they're mad about injustice? And I would say, no, not at all. We should all be mad about injustice. The question at hand is, how are we defining justice? And if we have misdefined justice, goodness, rightness, well, then we're going to be getting angry at things we believe are injustices, which in fact may be justices, may be goodness. We're going to get angry at things we think are evil, which may in fact be good. And then we may be getting rid of that good, thereby in the name of making it more evil and calling it good. The Bible talks about that too, Isaiah. That's what we do with our sin. And that's what we do then as an individual. Every time you get angry, it's because you perceive an injustice. Something happens that you don't believe is good. It's not right, it's not fair, it harms. Usually it's very self-centered, but not always. But you see this thing in the world does not go as good ought to go, and you're like, that is wrong, right? You're aware of it. You're aware that evil's wrong. You get mad about it. Now again, we're so petty that like we do this when we hit our own thumb with a hammer, right? And we're not angry at ourselves, right? We're angry at the universe, like the universe did it to you, right? Oh, universe, shake your fist at God. Oh, why, how'd you let this happen to me? I mean, you did it to yourself, dude. But I'm talking to me when I say that. I perceive that as being wrong. Now, interesting there. So, as I'm blaming the God and the universe for the wrong that was me hitting my own thumb with a hammer, what am I really expecting of God and the universe? I'm expecting that God and the universe would allow the universe to go the way I desire it to go at every moment, which ultimately is my desire to be God. Right. So the moment I stub my toe and I go, curses, right? And, and you get curses, right? That I might say that. I might say another word, and usually not just for the stub toe. If it gets bad enough, things tend to come out. But it doesn't matter. You say, oh, poopy pooey, chewy chewy, oh, pickly tinkly, it doesn't matter. You're still cussing. And you're cussing because you're angry. And you're angry because you're not God. Because if you were God, that wouldn't have happened. Right? And that's the problem. That's why the anger of man does not bring about the righteousness of God. That's it, right there. Because our anger is unjustly skewed to perceive justice as us being God. And that's not the way the world is. It's not true. And so we're angry all the time at the wrong stuff. That doesn't mean anger is bad. There's a beautiful verse in the Bible that goes like this. In your anger, do not sin. Pretty sure that's James, but I haven't looked recently. Look it up. Do I really need to quote the chapter and verse for you? Shouldn't you be testing me anyway? Shouldn't you be saying, does he really know his Bible? And then going and finding the verse yourself based on the words I said? Shouldn't the words be in the Bible? Shouldn't that be more important than the location in the Bible? I mean, I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. If the author of the Hebrews can say it's written somewhere and we trust him, well, no, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should go look it up, right? I'm sorry, I'm tangenting here, but I'm actually angry about this because I've been accused of this, of not being a good Bible teacher because I don't quote don't quote chapter and verse. Well, so do you think if I said chapter and verse, it would make it more true? What if me saying chapter and verse convinced you that it was there when it wasn't there because you never went and looked? So maybe the key should be not where I tell you it is, but what I said and whether it's there. I mean, just float that one in your head for a little bit, yeah? Think about that. So, it is written somewhere. I think it's James. But, your Google Bible search really should help you these days. It's written somewhere in your anger. Do not sin. Which not only gives you the freedom as a Christian to be angry, and to know that the anger itself is not the sin. It may, in fact, be righteous, especially as a Christian with a mind renewed by the Spirit of God, living according to what the Word of God says, with your worldview, your head, your operating system for your life shifted to be in alignment with the Word of God. How could you not then look at the fallen world and at some point be angry and it's right? It's true. It's good. The anger is good. But then James says, whoa, slow down, though, slow down. Remember. Just because you actually are rightly and justly angry doesn't mean that you're going to handle it well or use it well or take the action that will benefit the world. Because what you're going to want to do when you see injustice is you're going to take a sword and try to go stop the injustice. I'm going to stop it with a sword. Use the law. Fix it. Make it stop. Right? And there's a place for that. It's called government. It's not called vigilantism. And this goes for Christians too, just with their words. Amazingly, the madness of Christianity, we'll come back to this idea here at the end, or by the end, I hope. The madness of Christianity is that you don't fight with the sword. You don't go against the evil injustice with the law. You go with the gospel first, I would say. And if you want to yell about Walther, we can talk about Walther. He's talking about a completely different thing than I am right now. I'm talking about the first thing the world should hear the church saying is not, you're wrong for this reason. The first thing the world needs is to hear the fact that Jesus Christ is risen from the dead, and this is the justification of all mankind. That all evil has been swallowed alive and whole, but we have been spit out by that 3-day in the ground fish onto the land of prophecy by him. That mercy, that's what we're supposed to do with our anger. Particularly with our anger. If you're ever going to go and enact justice with a sword, you better not be angry as you do it. You will do it wrong. The sword should be handled by calm, cool, collected men. The army knows this. If you've been in the army, you know this. You don't want anybody angry in the battlefield. The team's just going to fall apart. You're going to be doing things you don't want to be doing. Calm, cool, collected. That's what the sword needs. But anger happens when you see injustice. What's the tool for anger and injustice? It is mercy. It is mercy upon the other. That doesn't mean ignore it. It means seek their best, seek their good, love your enemy, pray for them, that kind of thing. But see, you can only do that if you're actually angry. You can't do that if you're never angry. You can only resist the temptation to sin, well, if sin comes to tempt you and pull you and try to show you the wrong way to go, to try to take your just anger and turn it into unjust action. So there's my apologia, my defense of anger. The Christians are allowed to be mad in the angry sense, and well, I am. And I am a lot. And I don't think if you knew me, I don't think my kids, well, maybe they do think I'm angry. I do yell sometimes. I might get mad about stupid stuff. I get mad about not stupid stuff too. So, kids, they're fun. They're a treat, and then they're not, and then they are. But that's a different thing. That's not what I'm talking about. I don't think that they would say, like, I walk out of my room, and unless I've been, my studio, unless I've been, podcasting, they're not running away and cowering in terror. If I've been podcasting, they might, because they know if they're loud enough multiple times in a row, I'll open that door and be angry. But normally, they're not hiding from me. They think I'm a friendly guy. We hang out, we play, and we eat dinner together, all that. And so I think if you just met me on the street, or if you're in the congregation, if you're a congregation member, you listen to this, you don't think I'm an angry guy, right? You never get angry. Well, yeah, not often, at least in front of you guys. But that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about being like angry all the time. Although I kind of am in a sense, but it's not like this overriding emotion that is just conveying every edge of my life into rage. No, but there are a lot of things that I think I'm angry about, because there are a lot of injustices in the world and in the church that nobody believes are injustices. And I'm not even angry about those. I'm angry that we don't believe they're injustices. I'm angry that there's a certain self-satisfaction in Americanism, Christianity-ishness that is, well, it's its own kind of madness. It's its own kind of curse. And I'm pretty tired of that. Now, I know we're not going to be able to have a perfect world or a perfect place or perfect churches. And I can tell you the story of what someone said to me once when I was young pastor, and I was too zealous, but I was complaining about how the structure in the congregation didn't work. It was a mess. Attempting to do anything good for the congregation, like to the level of, There's a bathroom in the basement. It's the only one of three only bathrooms there are is the kids' bathroom, the only bathroom, and there is mold growing on the wall, and the light doesn't work, and it's been that way for years. And I couldn't get it cleaned. Not at least without just going in with my own hands and doing it. I probably would have gotten yelled at for that. Maybe not yelled at, but maybe. So I'm complaining to another pastor about it, like, dude, what is going on? And the answer I was given was, well, it's just the way it is. Congregations never work. See, that makes me angry now as I think about that. That's a lie. It's not true. If a group of 10 people or 50 people living together can't maintain a clean bathroom, then why do some places have clean bathrooms and they're not government run as if the government's the answer to all of this? Why is that? Because they have a slave? No, that's not it. It's because you can make some things work. And here's the thing that I really believe about this. This whole thing's not just about this. But this is one like really irks me a lot. If a group of complete, crass, unbelieving pagans, whatever they want to be, I mean, they're not sacrificing babies yet, but they kind of are, if you think about it. If they can have an organization that meets not weekly but daily, and feeds them in their belief in certain ways spiritually, provides for their care, body and soul, lifelong, hello Google, if that can exist, and not only do they have clean bathrooms, but the whole thing functions pretty effectively, even to the point of removing dissenting voices who oppose its doctrines, but the people who go there, who are not opposing, love it and want to be there and want everyone to be part of it in the whole world. Well, then why can't Christians manage a building that's used by 200 people to kind of be the same way? Not in a fascist totalitarian way. I'm not talking about that. But shouldn't we be able to get stuff done? No, congregations never work. Why? God cursed us with disorder? No. So I'm angry about that. And I'm angry that no one's talking about that. I'm angry that there's not an answer for that. The answer is just to let it be and just kind of do what we've done. Oh, well, we have our Constitution. We've got to keep it. We wrote most of those things in the 80s. They were a new idea the way they were. They were built upon an older structure that's much better. The older constitutions are way better, way less demanding, way more focused on our faith. So don't tell me the Constitution's the answer. Bylaws, geez. But certainly, there's a problem there. And then it makes me angry. I'm mad. I'm a mad Christian. But the thing is, bye-bye YouTube. If you want more, catch the podcast.